I was wondering if you guys could talk about a little bit about the dialect you guys use on the film, and how hard it is to actually, rehearse it and actually say it the way your director wants you to say it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I remember one of my first meetings I had with director now, and he put forward the idea that he wanted us to, speak in an alien language. And if I remember correctly, you had hired two linguists who had made, a totally new whole language based on ancient Mongolian, I think. I guess for me, I have already, in the beginning of my career, it was a huge step, I think, for a lot of years, just, learning how to, work in a language that is not your mother tongue was one step. And I think, obviously, the kind of repetitive hours of just practicing lines, is on a different level than maybe just learning accents. But when you get to do that, it also helps yourself to, step away from yourself and find a character and let your imagination and your kind of inspiration become bigger. So I think that given the chance to learn this language definitely made me find maybe a different voice, hear myself, kind of picturing myself being something other, and therefore I thought it was, if I knew I was already going to play an alien. I've seen some photos with my long arms and my neck, so I was like, okay, I'm going to go all the way, and I think the language was very much part of creating this creature.
Yeah, I think it was actually, quite easy. It's just we had all the tools, so we were given recordings of the dialogue, recording slowly so you can get each sort of syllable and word right, and then the recording of it as it would naturally flow, and then it's just listen and repeat. And actually watching the film last night, I was like, wow, we had it easy. These guys were, did all the heavy lifting. So actually, it was the easiest part of it. Just, we had plenty of time to prep it before we got out to Korea, just listening, repeating. Then I think, when we were on set, the tricky thing was then, how do they move, getting the physicality. But like I say, these guys did all the heavy lifting. It was really impressive to see last night.